welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of October 2024. I hope you're well. Happy birthday to those of you whose birthday falls at the end of October. Right, I am using the Night Sun Tarot for you today. There's a lot of nudity in this. The AI bots that scour the videos when they're uploaded don't like that. So if one of those cards comes up, I will be covering it up, probably with my little puppy. So if that's what's happening, I just wanted to explain to you why that was happening. Other things to note: if the reading resonates with you and you'd like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That is via the first link, which is in the description box below this video. The second link in that description box is to my private community, which is the Order of the Phoenix over on the Circle platform. You can get access to all of the extended content for all of the signs for no extra cost beyond the membership fee, and hang out with a truly extraordinary group of people. So if that sounds like it might be your bag, you know what to do with that link. Right, Scorpio, let's see what's going on with you. Can I have 3 cards for Scorpio, please? Interesting. We have the 6 of Pentacles in the upright, and let's pop that there, and the Queen of Swords in reverse. Not in reverse, on her side. I want to cross this with this. I don't know why I do, but I do, so I'm going to do that. Tell me about current energy for Scorpio, please. Oof. 2 cards. We have the High Priestess and we have the King of Swords. I like that very much. What's coming towards Scorpio, please, for October? King of Pentacles in reverse. Intriguing. We have the Judgment card at the bottom of the deck. Now, I should tell you, before I do any reading, whether it's a personal reading or one of these for YouTube or whatever, I do a short meditation, and somewhat in line with what's been happening for most of the other signs, the titles have been coming through before the video does, which is a bit strange. Not my usual way of working, not how things usually occur for me. Normally I go through them afterwards, you know, and try and pick out the salient point to make the title for the video. And what was really interesting for me was that the words that were coming through were things like transmutation, transfiguration, and things like this, right? Not transformation. And I thought that that was really, really interesting. Like, I noticed it as they were coming through, because I think transformation is a word, obviously, that we associate with Scorpio very, very strongly for obvious reasons. But it is mayhap also a word that is thoroughly overused, possibly, maybe even by me. I don't know. There's something different happening here this month that is not complete transformation. It feels more like a coalescence, if I can put it that way. Now, let's get some clarifiers out on the table and then we'll get into this. Tell me about this 6 of Pentacles and Queen of Swords, please. Why is this here for Scorpio? Why is this here for Scorpio? There we go. Right, we've got Queen of Cups, we've got 5 of Pentacles, and we've got the Queen of Swords, again, on her side. Very, very interesting. Tell me about this High Priestess and King of Swords. What? We have the 6 of Pentacles again. We have the 9 of Cups. Let's get one more for that, please. So it'll probably give me 2. Oh, no. Knight of Cups in reverse. Tell me about the King of Pentacles, please. The Hanged Man. The Ace of Pentacles. So here it is. Here's the rub, Scorpio. It feels like change, and I mean, why wouldn't it be, right? Look at the times that we're in. But this is a theme that I've seen rippling across every single sign that I have read for October so far. And whether or not this is the winds of change blowing in, or this is an activation of those who can do something about the change, right? Be part of the formulation of the new rather than the maintenance of the old. It's difficult to say. But there is a change of direction here, and it comes by way of what you already know, what you already possess. There's a shift. And I think the shift is in the thinking, and it's almost like a submission to the feeling more, if I can put it like that. So notable that transformation is not the word that was coming through for you, but it kind of makes a lot of sense for that, because we're not transforming you into something that you were not before. There's not a process of complete renewal and rejuvenation here. It feels more like a tentative opening that coalesces everything that you've been learning, everything that you've been knowing, and it points to a different direction to the one that you thought that you were going in. And this is quite significant because, well, whenever the Judgment card shows up, generally there are big decisions that need to be made. And I think that these are possibly ideas or things that have been floating around in the abstract for a while now, right? Coming and going and whatnot. A recognition that there's something to commit to here, and it isn't allowing the dream to move through you. It's like, no, actually, all things said and done, everything that I know, everything that I feel, this is the way that I'm going. So we start with the Six of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords on her side here in the recent past. And I should be very clear, when I say recent past, this could be this morning when you got out of bed. It could. Or it could be anywhere as far back as 6 weeks from this point here, right? It is relatively recent. And it's all the energy that's going into where you are now. So we have the Six of Pentacles, which is a card that in other decks actually vexes me greatly. I'm thinking of this one sometimes because of the things that I see coming from this. But this one is kind of different. I mean, I feel for this one, it's very much about its astrological correspondence of Moon in Taurus. You know, so we have things of an emotional nature arising because there is the moon, there is the environment, the emotional environment. But we have that Taurian, not necessarily fixedness, but stability. So it comes to mean for me grounded emotions. This is not us being up a height. It's kind of accepting that things are perhaps the way that they are, and that's fine. That's okay. We can work with that. But the next card that comes along after the Six of Pentacles is the Seven. And it's like, give me the grace to accept what I can't change and the courage to change what I can, right? The really famous quote that I've obviously just butchered a little bit there, but it's it's something along those lines, and the wisdom to know the difference, right? So we've got this pre-state, if you will, because the Seven of Pentacles is not here, but I do feel like the influence of the Seven of Pentacles is here and very, very strong over this reading. What is true, what is real in your emotional space? What is stable and secure and not really going anywhere? The Pentacles for me are about, you know, those things that we have to invest. So obviously you can emotionally invest in things, but you can invest your attention and your time and sometimes your money in these sorts of things as well, right? So here we've got something that is kind of rooted. This is what I know. This is what I believe. And I think that's probably the more important. There's a friend of mine who's a chaos magician who came up with a definition for belief, which I can't knock. I've tried bulldozing it over because that's what I do, right? And it's too on point. And he says a belief is an idea plus emotion. Now, because the emotions aren't all over the place, the emotions are very grounded, the emotions are actually really quite calm, then the idea, and this feels like an idea that's been kind of toing and froing around you for a while, like a vague notion of something, or perhaps if things move beyond a certain point, I might consider doing this or whatever. You know, there's something relatively abstract and kind of ephemeral about that. We're getting really, really clear about what we believe, what is valuable, and getting emotionally secure in that. Now what's really, really interesting is everything that follows, because we've got the Queen of Swords on her side twice. Now that's not a coincidence, that's deliberate. That's the universe saying what they said. And if you recall, if you've ever watched my videos before, I talk about how the Queen of Swords, for me, like all of the queens do, makes sense of, processes everything that suit represents, right? So in this funny little, narrative that I've written for myself about how the suit of the swords works, the Page of Swords gathers the information. He understands the importance of the information. He picks it up. He passes it on to the knight. And the knight then takes it to the queen, right? This is what we've got. Here it is. And it's going as quickly as possible. And sometimes you can see this almost mimetic quality to the Knight of Swords, where it's the transmission of an idea from mind to mind to mind, right? And then it arrives at the feet of the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords' job is to go through all of this information and work out what makes sense and what doesn't. What is the cohesive strand that runs through this story? Is there one? And what is true and what is not? Now you'll notice that her heart is in a little cage there. What we've got is a great degree of objectivity that is demonstrated by the Queen when she's going through all of this information. But ultimately her task is to pass this over to the king, right? The king then being the final arbiter, the one who makes the decisions about things. But we'll get to him in a second. Now, the fact that the Queen of Swords is here on her side does not feel to me like she is rejecting information. But she doesn't feel like she's necessarily playing as important a role in terms of looking at what is factual than she has done in the past. It's almost like the idea plus the emotion, which is to say the belief, is superseding the need for any kind of factual backup for that. And that would make sense to me for you as a Scorpio who kind of deals in those unseen realms where sometimes tangible facts of things are quite difficult to bring forward. It's like, well, this is something that I feel. This is something that I suspect. This is something that I know. Now, being a Scorpio, eventually you will find that evidence for it. But that's usually only to satisfy other people. And I don't feel too much like you're interested in putting forward that evidence for other people, because it's sort of like, well, if you can't see this, it's not really my job to show you. All I know that is I am going this way. Now, the Queen of Cups adds an interesting dimension on the top, not the only Cups suit card to be showing up in the reverse, because on the face of it, this would look very much like the emotions are all over the place, right? Well, we need those Cups cards in the upright because that's the clean transmission of that emotional stuff. But it feels to me like there's something moving here that perhaps even transcends the idea and the belief. It's something really, really powerful that's kind of coming up from your core. And the emotions and the ideas and, the water and the swords being an attempt to interpret something that maybe defies interpretation at this point. We could describe it as a knowing, but again, that's just a little bit too much in the swords, and even the swords are on their side. So it feels like there's something, a transcendence, there's another trans word, right? A transcendence of the need to understand and the need to have a clear sense of how we feel about something. This is something else that is coming through, and it's different. We don't really know what it is, but it feels like it's important, because this Five of Pentacles here, I feel, is speaking to... So here's the thing, right? Normally we would look at this card in the upright and say there's an instability here. Or we would look at it in the reverse and we'd say there is an approaching stability, right? We're kind of getting a handle on this. And instead it seems to be sitting in this space of committing neither way and saying we're on the cusp of something. And I can't tell from looking at this card here whether this card is turning to the reverse or to the upright. I suspect, intuitively I feel, so does my tummy, and she's gurgling there, I actually feel like it's turning this way. Now, is this specific to you, or is this something environmental? I would say it's probably environmental first, but coming down to a point where eventually it is going to affect you. And what makes the position that you are in so strong at the moment is that you already have the upright presentation of the Six of Pentacles. It's like whatever you've been going through in the last 6 weeks, whatever that is, and as difficult to pin down in a way that could be evidenced for the satisfaction of other people, it is. It's allowing you to develop a sense of security and stability within whatever it is that is moving here now, that you sense that's coming from a place that you can't really define, in anticipation of the environment beginning to look like this. Now, to be fair, if you live in the States, and maybe even if you don't, you know, the events of November likely will go this way no matter what. This is not a political statement. This is a paying attention to the situation. Whichever ways it goes, it's probably not going to be awesome, right? So there's an intuitive tweaking going on here, but it's different. It's totally different to anything else that you felt before, because it's not about what you emotionally feel about it. It's not even what you think about it. It's very difficult to evidence. But there's something quite calm and quite resolute about the way that you're showing up, even in the midst of all of this fog and cloudiness. So then we come to your current energy, and we have the Queen of Swords and we have the King of Swords. And I think this is fascinating, because this is a decision made by you to allow whatever it is to come through. Now, I realise that for some people this may sound a little abstract, but I think if you are one of the people for whom this reading resonates, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This indefinable, understandable movement of energy. The King of Swords here, I think, the decision to allow this to move through you, rather than trying to halt it or stop it or understand it, filter it through your human senses or your brain, your mind. Because the queen, why, she is a queen, man, the High Priestess is entirely passive. Now, this feels to me like the start of something that, again, you may not know exactly where it is that it's going. Like, where is this going? What is the end result of allowing this to move through? We don't know. But there is the Six of Pentacles again, as a reminder that whatever it is, it's something that you are able to deal with, right? Because those emotions are solid right now. And more than that, we've got the Nine of Cups, suggesting that the emotions aren't solid and fixed, but they are stable and secure, and you're managing them well. You know, whenever the Nine of Cups comes up for me, we are talking about how you manage your emotions, just as with the other nines, we're talking about how you manage whatever suit they're talking about there. So Nine of Swords, how you manage your mind. Nine of Cups, how you manage your emotions. Right? A job that is yours and yours alone and does not belong to anybody else. How do you keep that in a state? Right. Now, it has other meanings too. It has, it talks about your highest goals, hopes, wishes, a sense of emotional fulfillment. This chap here is looking really quite content with what he's got going on here, and so there is the sense of the wish fulfilled. But I feel like that's a little way off. It's more about contentment with the way that things are lining up, and no need to feel like you have to interfere with it in any way. Now, this Knight of Cups in the reverse, I'm finding quite interesting, because when it's in the upright, it talks about, giving our cup and being of service. I have to say, sometimes I've found the Knight of Cups to be a little bit of a triumph of style over substance. Not really bringing anything too deep to the equation. And that's not how I feel about him all the time, but sometimes there's that sense that I get of him. But the way that I'm reading this Knight of Cups is that now is not the point to be kind of sharing this around, whether it's sharing the information or sharing a sense of this being the way that you be of service to other people. Which is to say, in a very Scorpio way, this at the moment is purely for you. It's not something to be disseminated. It's not something to be shared. It is a personal moment of interaction between you and Source, or you and the universe, or you and your higher self, like whatever it is. And it may not stay that way forever, but certainly for now, that is exactly what this is. And so we have the idea also that you should trust the process and allow it to take you where it will, because this process that has been, pointed to in every way other than transformation, so transmutation, transfiguration, right? All of these kind of ideas of a shift from one state into the other, but not of the quality of transformation, because that's not it yet. It's adding a lot of credibility to this feeling that I have, that it's about the coalescence, it's about the acceptance, it's almost like allowing you to power up first, right? It's a priming energy is how it feels. And certainly allowing you to change direction on something that perhaps you had planned for yourself. I mean, look, when the King of Pentacles shows up, right, it's Taurus energy, and so we've got stability, security, responsibility, a sense of duty. We've got something that's quite stable here, but we've also got something that is planning for the future, because Taurus is a builder and he's always looking to go that way. Now, had it been the Hierophant that showed up, I might have said, well, this is saying you are not to teach this to other people. Like, what is moving through here for you at this point is for you and you alone. This is a personal process that is happening. But it isn't the Hierophant, it's the King of Pentacles. And so this sense that the King of Pentacles represents a plan that was that you might have been working to here in terms of what you wanted to achieve in the next few years, and all the things that are kind of pentacle-like in nature. So, your money and your job and your home and all those sorts of things. Your own sense of personal abundance, however that may be represented to you. Whatever it is that you've been working towards, that is now changing. It's turning into something else, because we have the Hanged Man and we have the Ace of Pentacles. And to some extent or another, what we're doing is letting something go, something that we've already put, a fair amount of attention into, maybe even, a fair amount of effort and whatnot into. Submit to what is happening here to you, because there is a new focal point of attention that will be coming up very soon as a result of this process. And the Judgment card is saying it's pointing you towards a new, almost like a bigger decision than you expected to have to make this month. And it's something that's of the order of much more, it's much more esoteric, it's much more metaphysical. But it will have a point where it's kind of condensing down into the material world, because we have this Ace of Pentacles here. If only because you choose to spend some of the time that you have here as an ambulatory meat sack like the rest of us, actually focusing your attention on it. The Hanged Man says don't resist anything that is happening this month. It's all shifting and morphing around, while you have the ability to build up whatever it is that is trying to move through you at the moment. It's like, don't dishonor or cheapen cheapen the energy by trying to understand what it is, because, and I think you've already come to this conclusion, Scorpio. It's like, it is what it fucking is, and it's bigger than me. You know, it defies logic. It defies an emotional understanding. It just simply requires me to open up and allow it to move through. Like, no resistance anywhere. Simply the decision to allow it to happen. And the decision to allow, whatever that means, is being taken off the table to go, because it's being replaced with something else. There's 7 of Wands here. And the Ace of Swords beyond it. It really does feel like if you chose to share this to anyone in your environment who was not aware of the level that Scorpios work at, right? So that's a very, very small circle of people, if anyone, around a lot of circles, around a lot of Scorpios. You would be attacked for it. Right? And we can see that meaning very clearly here. There's a truth that's underneath there. Now, whether that truth is yours or whether that's the truth of the people around you, I don't know. I'm going to go with yours, right? It's almost like it's a secret that's not yet ready to be revealed, if ever to be revealed, to the extent that it exists right now. But I can't help but feel the wheels of the universe turning around you here at this point, Scorpio. And the message is to be quiet, is to allow, right? And that be quiet is also, you know, is not only don't share this with, you know, Bob down the shop or anything like that, because people are going to start looking at you strange. You're a Scorpio, so I don't really feel like I need to bang that drum too hard. But there's a sense of people not being ready to hear this. And I think whatever this is, whatever you're experiencing right now, it may not ever be divulged to its fullest extent, and that's okay, because this is for you, certainly at this point. But aspects of this will start coming out later. I suspect it's because you will move into this position of teacher, guide, leader. We're seeing a lot of this coming up right across the signs, right, where people are being, they're getting the knock on the forehead. It's not just you, Scorpio, but it's very specific to each sign. They're all having a different way that this is showing up for them. It makes sense for you that it would be powerful and it would be deep and it would be a secret, you know? This Ace of Swords under here makes me feel like it's the readiness to allow one's mental faculties to be changed. I don't think people are ready yet, right? So you guard that until such time as fragments of it are ready to come out. There's a quote. Fuck. Emily? Is it Emily some? It's clear gone out of my head. Mary. Oh. Really famous writer. And I've completely forgotten what her name is. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. And the meaning of that is, you know, you must always tell the truth, but make sure that it is told at a level that it can be understood by people, right? And sometimes dumping all the information on people, too much. You've got to kind of let it out in little bits. No, you're not even at the letting it out little bits yet stage, Scorpio. But be prepared for change. Right, it's literally what trans means, right? It's change. Be prepared for some sort of change coming up here, which is a change in your material environment for sure. There's some sort of change or focus of attention, right? A decision that is made to go in a different direction than the one that you had anticipated. but it's not transforming you. It's coalescing around you, in you, through you. I'm going to go to the extended now. You're very welcome to join me there if you would like to. You can do that on Vimeo or you can do that on Circle. Links for both are in the description box below. And we're going to dig into this because I think if this reading is for you, then you understand this and we don't need to labour that point anymore. But I would like to see how this is playing out for you over the course of this month. So, know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.